Hi guys, this might be something a bit different, but I thought I might actually finally share / do a show and tell on what's actually done to my 75 before I pull it apart in a couple months and do a lot more work to it. But as it currently sits, it is on 35 by 10 by 17s comp forces on a neg 44 rim. They actually go quite well. It doesn't actually scrub anywhere, that's why I've got neg 44s. I do have a sagged 2-inch EFS spring, which I actually bought second hand. Then I got the Superior extended anti-inversion shackles. I got all the Superior tie rod and drag links underneath. I got some rated recovery points because you need them. I do have an original ARB deluxe bar on it. It is old. It does need a fresh coat of paint. I do just have the 7-inch spotties on it. Just got a King's winch. Got some fishing rod holders that I don't use to go fishing with. I use them to take fishing rods to the boat ramp. I have only got 3-inch shocks, although it is technically a 4-inch lift, but I figured since it's sagged, it's not really going to matter that much. But it does tuck up pretty good for a 75. I do have the Superior, I think it's 4 to 6-inch not coils, brake lines. There it is there. It is pretty high. I am twin locked. I do have a mechanical locker in the front, and then I've got a Harrop Eaton electrical locker in the rear. The rear is pretty much the same, 2-inch leaves, 2-inch shackles, shocks that are too small. That's why it only flexes to what it flexes to. I do have a genuine Toyota tray on it, but I did cut it down so I don't whack it. I've got a little dog box on the back. I do have a dual battery system under it, under the bonnet. See if anything falls out. I have managed to squeeze a 65 litre Waco in here. I am tall enough to just be able to reach in, I suppose. I do have, can't really see, I might just turn flash on. There you go. So I've turned flash on now. Yeah, I managed to get me thumper in there. Got me recovery bag. It is a 65 litre Waco in there. It goes pretty good because at the moment I only really do short trips, and if I do any longer trips, we generally take my father's 79 or my father's old Ranger. So I generally just use this as a full drive. Yeah, it's pretty not bad. It did have some rust in the front windscreen, which I did fix up. The paint I used wasn't good quality. It turns out you can't use rattle can primer and rattle can top coat because it just messes if it sits in the sun. But aside from that, it actually is a very rust-free body. The chassis is all good. The roof's actually very good. There is a dent in the roof. I've got a bit of damage on the other side of the car from when I actually I rolled it full driving, which was, I was lucky enough to only just have it damage the door. It did like proper V it in, but I hit it back out so I can move everything. I couldn't actually open the door, so I actually took the door off. I took this whole side of the car apart, actually moved everything forward because all in here it was all touching, and it just wasn't too good. And then at the front here it just wasn't just none of the gaps were right after it, so I pulled it off so I can still open the door. Like it's a pretty good door, and it still opens quite nice. Don't mind the holes in the door cards, but besides from that, the interior is quite bone stock. I am getting new door cards because I don't like the speakers in the doors because they just rattle around too much. I do just have I think it's a VN or whatnot, maybe around the early to late 90s Commodore seat, I believe. Just brass monkey. I think it's an 8-litre fridge with a homemade center console. I got my Bing Tong stuff there. Just a standard radio. Everything works. I got a overhead console. I just keep all my cleaning stuff up there. UHF. The other side's just got random bits and bobs in it. It's actually pretty good. But yeah, like I said, all the door, considering it's all munted, everything does actually close up quite well. You might be able to see all the gold shiny stuff a bit better now with the torch. I do have high clearance plates, front and rear. Superior don't actually make them for the front, but as you can see, if you just get some really bad U-bolt angles, you actually can make them fit. This is the reason why I like old leaf springs, is because they actually separate. If you take all the keepers out, they actually separate and twist, and it actually gives you a lot better articulation, providing you got shocks. This is my max travel with these shocks. If I can find a cheap set of shocks on Facebook Marketplace or something, because I will need 79 rear shocks and 80 series rear shocks for this, because this is the biggest suspension that fits in a 75. Although it is sagged at the moment, but yeah, it's pretty much that. Like, it's still all but is dropping 35s below the seal. Like, I am quite a tall person, and it does very much tower over me. But yeah, I took my door handle off because one of the little clips on the inside come undone, and it was just annoying me. But yeah, besides from that, I'm pretty happy with how clean it is. Like I said, I'll be rebuilding and I'll put in new seats in it, new center console. I'll probably continue the top piece into a T-piece. Probably just put an updated steering wheel in it if I can find a brown one. But yeah, besides from that, I'll show you the bone stock engine bay. Right, this is pretty much me bone stock engine bay. I've got a CTEK DC to DC charger there. I've got my main battery, my secondary battery. Don't mind the Kings one, my original one died, and the Kings one happened to be the only one that I could find before the Australia Day weekend at the Springs that I could find that actually would fit there. ARB, whatnot, dual battery holder. It is not an FTE. If you know it, you know. If you know anything about Toyotas, you know this is not an FTE, or an FT at that matter. This is a bone stock unopened 1HZ with 580,000 Ks on it. It is starting to get a bit tired, so I will be, when I pull it off the road at the midway through this year, I will be rebuilding it and I will be turbo specking everything. It's going to be quite a little powerful little motor, but yeah, at the moment now, this was blocked off by the original owner. I just undid it because bloody my snorkel's not very waterproof, I suppose. It's kind of like a factory one. It's just a raised dust intake. So that's why I was like, there's no real point. So I just leave that open. If I know I'm going through something, I will put the plug. I've got that in that side of the dog box. But yeah, besides from that, she's pretty bone stock. I did take my shroud off because it's kind of a funny story. it originally got caught, my fan got caught in the shroud about 12 months ago, and I cooked it going up the Toowoomba Range. Toowoomba Range? Oh no, sorry, the Gap. I think it was the Gap. I cooked it going up the Gap. So I took it off and I was meaning to adjust it to make it fit, but yeah, I was just like, nah. I haven't done it yet, because even with the shroud off it, the temperature still doesn't get past halfway. But yeah, that's a bit better look at the roof. That's the dent there in the roof. I've got no clue. I'm pretty sure it's a stick or a tree or something landed on it. But yeah, besides from that dent, the dents in the door, and bloody my beautiful rattle can paint job, which, well, it did look pretty good for the first 2 weeks, but doesn't look too good now. But yeah, it is a pretty solid car. Like, it's done a fair few tracks up Glasshouse. Well, if you have known it, or even if you know Do It in the Dirt, I do go with them a fair bit, and I do follow Nathan. Around a fair bit, but I do like trying to keep this. I don't really like thrashing this as much as Nathan does with his GQ. I do like to try and keep the panels straight if I can. The door was just a complete freak accident. It was about 9:30 at night. It was actually the night before we were going to Cape. Luckily, this car wasn't going, because yeah, me and my cousin, we thought it was a good idea to go brush up on our full driving skills, and we actually rolled it. So, and it was only us. Luckily, I did have the winch with us, and it was hooked up and working, so we did manage to flip it up. I actually had a steel dog box on at the time, which stopped it from completely rolling onto its roof. I did have the alloy tray on it, which it held up fine. I did have a bit of a dent here on the steel canopy that I had, but yeah, I was pretty happy it didn't end up on its roof, because yeah, like I said, this roof is actually quite good. Like, the car actually is quite dirty. I know it doesn't seem that bad with the flashlight on it, but the car's quite dirty as it sits. But yeah, like, it's done. I did beer o'clock in it the other day, made it. The only dilemma I had when I was doing that is I whacked the transfer case gear shift with my leg and knocked it into neutral in the box. So I rolled back down a bit, but put it back into gear, and then I drove back up it. I can do pretty much a lot of the, I think there's that one really aggressive tread hill that this ute can't do. Last time I was up there, I was a bit soft because I had my dog in the back, so I didn't want to go too hard. But yeah, pretty much goes, like, since it's got a really lightweight setup in the rear, I can get up pretty much everything, and it doesn't really slides. And like I said, it's not, it's not the 4.2 79s or the 79s where the diffs are smaller at the rear. So where my front wheels go, my back wheels actually do follow. And then that paired with these tyres, like they are pretty old, but they are pretty aggressive. So, but yeah, it is what it is. She's a pretty good weapon. I'll probably document a bit more on it when I start doing things to it. I might actually start filming. I do have a VS Statesman up the top that I just put a VY motor in. I'm just going to finish hooking that up on the weekend, and then I'll probably, if I remember / can be bothered, I might actually do a run around, like a little run through video on that before, because I'll probably be selling that for a Fairlane. But yeah, this is the 75 before I pull it off. I believe she is a 11th month 1993, so yeah, she's a pretty good old car. It's got 580,000 Ks, and between me and my father, we have had this since, I think, 320,000 Ks, I believe. So that's why people have offered me, I've been offered very high 30s for this thing, and I've actually declined it. Been offered high 20s plenty of times, been offered low 30s. I've actually been offered a lot of money for this car because it is done and it can do everything. But yeah, it's just due to sentimental value. I drove past this car for about 3 years straight. It was parked on the side of the road. But yeah, it's pretty much, yeah, it's a 11th month 1993 Toyota HZJ 75 series. I think then it's like RJ at the end of it, whatever it is. It does have 580,000 Ks on it. I have had it since 320,000 Ks, which is why I will not be getting rid of it anytime soon, and I was very, very happy to spend a lot of money onto it because I'll never get rid of it, and this car always amazes me to what it is able to do. But yeah, if you've got any questions, hit me up on Instagram. My Instagram's pretty much me Facebook, not me, me YouTube username. But I'm pretty sure it's, yeah, I'm pretty sure it's the exact same. If not, it might have capitals in instead of not being all lowercase. But yeah, if you've got any questions, hit me up on Instagram at Just Living It. If not, put them in the comments, and you know, you'll probably be the only person that comments, but at least I'll see it and I'll answer what you need. But yeah, all right, cool. See you later.